This is something people have been talking about for a few weeks now, and I haven't talked about it because it felt like so destructively obvious that any commentary I could do in it would just be like, oh, wow. Thank you for your input, Vosh. But I've finally found a format that I'm comfortable jumping into the discourse through, okay? A dramatic reading. Get ready. Desperate for staff, this ice cream shop owner made an unusual decision. It's a lesson in emotional intelligence. Jacob Hancher knew his ice cream shop wouldn't survive much longer without new workers, so he took a big risk. You can imagine some like early 2000s like Nickelodeon live action show OP music playing right now. So we lead into the actual content of this. Summer was approaching, and Jacob Hancher was desperate to staff his ice cream shop as businesses slowly began to reopen as COVID-19 passes. He had tried everything. Well, almost everything. With no one answering the company's job ads, Hancher made an unusual decision. He more than doubled the shop's hourly wage from $7.25 to $15. Over the course of a week, the shop received over 1,000 job applications. What follows is a masterclass in emotional intelligence and a major lesson in how looking beyond the short term in your business strategy can reap huge rewards. I'm just going to interrupt this for a second. I just want to say, I love that we're at a point right now where a basic understanding of the supply-demand curve is sufficient to get one deemed a master in emotional intelligence. You know, if we offer higher wages, there's a greater incentive for workers to apply. Oh, oh. It's just funny because, like, wait, this is unironic? Yes. So it's just really funny because, like, liberals tend to liberals tend to tout like the importance of basic economics when it comes to you know, transactions like this and proper staffing, but raising your wages to attract more employees is like the first obvious step. We need more workers. What if we paid more? That's like the first thing. That's like the first step. But this was an unusual decision. I'm going to move my camera up here so you guys can really appreciate the feed, okay? If you enjoy the lessons in this article, be sure to sign up for my free, soon-to-be-launched Emotional Intelligence course, where I share a similar rule every week that'll help you make emotions work for you instead of against you, okay? Buy my book to learn crazy business tactics like the supply-demand curve. The backstory. Back in March, Claivin's ice cream parlor in Pittsburgh was expecting to employ between 11 and 15 people. They only had 3. Name your site. We've done Monster, we've posted online, we've done LinkedIn, Hancher told Pittsburgh local CBS affiliate at the time. Hancher went so far as to ask the competition about asking employees to work split shifts, but nothing worked. Again, the fact to me that our economy is in a position where an employer is like, what can I do? What can I do to bring in people to my job? We've tried all the websites. We've asked for split shifts with my competition. I've gone to my literal business competition to ask them to share their employees with me. Nothing's working. The problem? Of course, coronavirus concerns played a role, but Hancher believes unemployment checks did too. If I can get my unemployment benefits and I don't have to go out and risk, then I'm probably going to stay home, Hancher said. I wonder what that says about how high the minimum wage is. Hancher knew full well the business couldn't survive much longer. With 80% of the shop's revenue coming in summer months, he needed employees, and he needed them fast. The company announced via social media and local media outlets that it was raising its wage to $15 an hour. Immediately, applications came pouring in. We stopped counting once we reached 1,000. And you probably saw this on social media, didn't you? You know, like a few weeks ago? This was a big deal. A business decided to pay something approximating a living wage. and everyone lost their mind. We filled the 16 positions practically overnight, Hancher told MSNBC in an interview. Again, they gave this guy an MSNBC interview because he figured out that paying workers more increases the incentive for employment. It's just, the lesson that you can take from this beyond anything else is that it's not an understanding of basic economics that drives the business world. It's actually a near sociopathic rejection of the consideration of employees' needs. That's what it is fundamentally. This is one of the few instances where the supply-demand curve, where very basic economic incentives actually benefits workers. Unemployment benefits were generally, like, preferable to working minimum wage jobs in some places in the country. So, if you want to incentivize those workers to work, you got to pay them more. But rather than follow this basic and obvious extension of the most ground-level economic theory, like, this isn't even 101. This is like high school econ stuff. They tried everything but, and when they finally did the most obvious solution, they get an MSNBC interview. Over a month later, the move seems to be paying off. From a top-line perspective, we have more people coming into our shop as a result of raising our wage because people want to support a business that's taking care of their employees, Hancher said. Also, our costs are going down because of less turnover. I wonder if there are economic benefits to paying your workers well. I wonder if people discovered those benefits a century ago and those secrets have been lost to time. The idea that paying your workers better has broader economic benefits was discovered, like, a long time ago. This is pre-capitalism stuff, okay? Now, people talk about Ford and paying his assembly line workers more and stuff like that, but it went way before that, too, okay? The idea that if your workers are well off, society is more well off, this is like ancient knowledge, okay? This is like Warhammer 40,000, okay? The Imperium of Man has lost the technology to create all of its old titans and, like, space hulks and all the crazy, all the tech they used to use. So the economists of the modern world are, like, scouring the dirt, like pulling up ancient tablets. Pay workers more means more workers good? Like, people are, like, losing it. There are like some Indiana Jones adventures going on right now in, like, the Mesopotamian ruins, discovering, like, ancient pieces of pottery with paintings on the side depicting the lost art of paying your workers slightly more than a death wage, okay? Turnover has always been a challenging issue in the restaurant business. Yeah, because restaurant work sucks. But so is burnout, according to Hancher. A lot of people work 2 or 3 jobs, he explains, and now they're just working 1 job. So people are showing up on time now, and they're reporting to work in a better mood. Customer service has improved. Things like that you don't always account for. Yeah, if you're not even remotely familiar with how business works. Oh my God. Dude, I'd never considered that my workers being happy would increase productivity. Really, they should teach somebody these things. If we have been loyal to... By the way, I just want to say, by the way, I'm ragging on this guy, the guy who runs this ice cream shop. This guy, as low as he is a step above basically every other employer, okay? Keep in mind, this guy that I'm ragging on him for taking this one step that the vast majority of employers don't. Because right now there are thousands of business owners who are not taking this step, tapping their foot, crossing their arms. Why is turnover so high? Why are people showing up late? Why is customer service so bad? Why aren't I getting any applications? I don't get it. Anyway, just like this guy, maybe we shouldn't rag on this guy. Maybe this guy is like discovering a lost art and we should be like patient and appreciative. You know what I mean? Maybe this is like a physical therapy thing where like a 33-year-old guy gets in a car accident and we should be like applauding him as he learns to walk again, you know? Like to us, it seems like a basic step. But to a business owner, learning this very extremely fundamental economic principle is actually really difficult, you know? If we've been loyal to our employees and we continue to have that loyalty, that pays back in terms of return on investment and improving business. Though, by the way, I do like that all of this is being framed exclusively in terms of the benefit to the business owner, like no regard for the benefit to the employee, you know? What's emotional intelligence got to do with it? As a business owner, it's natural and praiseworthy that you want to cut costs where possible. That's intelligent and prudent. But many times, a company's leader's refusal to even look at raising wages is an emotional one because they've gotten away with paying minimum wage for so long that they fear that if they change, they'll be making an irreversible mistake. This 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 paragraph right here feels like this paragraph right here feels like you're talking down a serial killer in your like bedroom or in your bathroom. You know what I mean? Like really soft language, you know? Like, hey, 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 hey. No, it's totally reasonable that you want to kill and disembowel me. I get it, I get it. But sometimes, you know, you have to take a step back and think like, oh wow, what if we like thought about basic economics for a second, you know? I really feel like they're being talked down, you know? That approach is lazy. It doesn't allow business owners to see things in context or encourage them to pour through the data. In contrast, emotional intelligence allows you to keep emotions in balance so you think more clearly and see the big picture. If this is emotional intelligence, then I'm a goddamn emotional clairvoyant, okay? I guess all lefties are just naturally very emotionally intelligent. Hancher said the decision to raise wages wasn't made rashly. I had to really study this in depth and really take a look at our forecasts and really think through how I was going to manage all this, he explains. That involved comparing his wages with those of competitors, predicting customer retention, churn rate, and other factors like employee satisfaction. Can I offer an additional potential benefit? Imagine if, instead of just raising your wage, we raised the minimum wage to 15. So that wouldn't affect this guy's business adversely because he already pays his workers $15 an hour. But, and think about it this way, how much more business would he get to enjoy if tens of millions of people in the country had significantly higher wages? That is the key economic benefit of raising the minimum wage. And it's one of the reasons why business owners like Henry Ford would raise their wages back in the 19 whatever the fucks back then, you know? It's because you benefit when people at large are capable of affording your products. If people in your neighborhood, city, whatever, that's a myth, Vosh. I heard it was a myth, and then I looked over it, and it turns out it's more like a simplification of a very complicated, broader trend that he contributed to. So it's not necessarily a myth. It's more like I'm, you know, more like I'm simplifying it. But the broader economic truth, it holds true. Trickle up economics. If people in your neighborhood or your city are making more money and they can afford to do more than just barely pay rent, they're more likely to buy products. It's good when people can afford to buy things that they want to buy. That's good for business owners, you know? It's not just strict double book accounting. You have to think about all comprehensive aspects of a business and take every factor into account. Additionally, as a business owner, your goal, and they have the wrong "your" here, which I love, your goal is to build an emotional connection with your customers. When a business has a reputation for taking care of its people, that makes socially minded customers feel good. And of course, if you take care of your people, they'll take care of business. Still, all the emotional intelligence in the world won't eliminate the need for a great product. Not to worry, Hancher says they've got that covered. I think we have the best chocolate chip cookie dough in the world. Look, maybe I'm ragging a little bit too hard on all the people involved in this article, but it is true. There were lots of people, lots of business owners and politicians, saying that the unemployment benefits that came about from the COVID stimulus packages were disincentivizing people to go to work. Now, those unemployment benefits were nice, but they were like survival wages, okay? They were like survival unemployment benefits, okay? Keep you afloat. If the pay that you get from a job is worse than that, That's not the unemployment benefits problem. That's yours. $7.25 an hour is pathetic. $7.25 an hour. That was the previous wage from this ice cream place. What is $7.25 an hour? $7.25 an hour evaporates faster than you make it. Did you know that? It's like rubbing alcohol on a table. You grind the crank, you make the money, and it just evaporates into the air as it gets produced. $7.25 an hour? Seriously, $7.25. And where was this? Where was this ice cream shop? It was in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. We're not talking about the Everglades of Florida here, okay? We're not talking about flyover country where you can buy a house if you promise to marry the daughter of the realtor. We're talking about a city. $7.25. No wonder people weren't applying.